2022 was an absolute awesome year for gaming peripherals. I really believe so. I mean, if you think about it, the gaming mice that came out, the headsets, the keyboards, really fresh, innovative products, which was just incredibly exciting. That's exactly what I'm gonna show you and talk about today are some of mine. We've got a few products just from a handful of brands though, but products that really just made me nerd out and get giddy. And what better place to start than Pulsar with the X-Lite V2 and then the X2. And they even came out with the X2, the Mini. These mice are absolutely amazing. Now I know the X-Lite was just a refresh, but they really did a lot of good things to it. Balancing it out and everything, build is much better. It's just phenomenal. But coming over to the X2 with them, coming out with the Mini, and then coming out with the medium version as well. Such an awesome mouse, such a great shape. Again, you got that nice ambi over here, you got that nice ergo. They got something for everybody. And seeing that from a small company like Pulsar, it's just amazing, right along with their glass feet, you know? And let me tell you what, well, I can't tell you everything, but put Pulsar on your radar because they have some really exciting stuff in the works. And I think 2023 is going to be just as amazing for Pulsar as it was in 2022. Next up, we have two products from Razer, which are still my main since the day they released. That being the keyboard, the Deathstalker V2 Pro, the TKL, and I actually used the full size over here on my editing computer. And then the Death Adder V3 Pro, which I main on my gaming setup and again over here on my editing and workstation. So first off, taking a look at the keyboard here. Why I love this thing so much is, well, number one, the low profile. Look how stinking slim that is. But number two are the switches on here. They got the Razer low profile optical switches, but there's also dampeners on these. Before I go any further, let me just let me power this off so I don't get anything crazy going. Listen to this. So before I go any further, yes, the stabs, they're not perfect. Again, I've been using this since the day it came out. I think if I slap some lube on there, they're gonna come around and be pretty good. But listening to the core keys right there, it just sounds amazing and it feels even better than it sounds. Now, they do use these ABS keycaps, but they claim they got this extra special coating on it that's not gonna shine and stuff. Using it since day one, no, they don't look like basic ABS keycaps, but I do have a little bit of shine. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but there is a little bit of shine. I wish they would have put PBT keycaps on this, but at the end of the day, again, I love this keyboard. I main it on my gaming setup, main it on my editing workstation. My son even mains this on his gaming setup. And now, the Death Adder V3 Pro. I really don't think I need to say anything more about this, right? I did a standalone review, raved about it. Many other reviewers raved about it. Heck, my man Boardsy, that praises Ambi, tiny little puny mice, says he's been maining this mouse. I mean, come on, look at that right there. That just says how great this mouse is, right? When a smaller Ambi mainer is maining a big plump mouse. I mean, this mouse is amazing. Perfect. No, again, my main gaming one has a little bit of flex right there. I am a tighter gripper, so I notice it. But again, that's mild. This mouse is absolutely phenomenal. Now, the downside of these products is the price. Neither of them are cheap. The keyboard's up around $200, the mouse $150. Again, that's probably the biggest downfall we noticed in 2022 is the price of peripherals. A lot of them did shoot up a bit. But again, even at MSRP of both of these products, I stinking love them and I still highly recommend them. Now next up, we have some mouse pads. I don't cover mouse pads much at all, if ever anymore on my channel. It's just boring, right? Usually it's a piece of cloth. We've seen hundreds of them. Who cares about the next one, you know? But we got to give a shout out to Lethal Gaming Gear in their Pro mouse pads. Right here I have, I believe it's the Mercury, not too sure. This is more of the hybrid one, a little scratchier. Over here we have the Saturn. And the Saturn, this one I love. But other than that, the mouse pad itself on both of them, I doubt my camera can even pick this up, but you look how tight and smooth that stitching is all around there. Really nice. Now they're using that pour-on grip on the bottom, kind of like what we've seen on Artisan pads. Really nice and flexible, soft. Now they got the different densities and everything, but this stuff sticks. Like if you're using a glass surface or a, like one of those laminate surface, it's gonna stick and you're gonna have to peel it off. Now if you put it on top of another pad, it does slide around. But again, if you got on that core surface, I mean, it just sticks. But talking about this, the Saturn, what I love about it, is you all have heard me talk about before, I always got to use gaming sleeves, right? But this one, it just, oh man, it feels like the inside of a sweater almost, maybe not as fluffy, but it's just a very comfortable pad. So I can game on it. I rest my wrist on a little bit. It just feels amazing. I'm not getting any abrasion over here on my hand or my wrist or whatever. It's fantastic. Now the Saturn that I'm talking about, it is a little bit of a slower pad. I do like slower pads, hence ergonomics as well, because I can really hold and lock my shots and I'm a little more in control rather than the mouse pad dictating what my mouse is going to do, being a little bit faster. That's a great thing that Lethal Gaming Gear is offering. They have varieties for whichever type of gamer you are. You want fast, you want slow, you want firm, you want soft, whatever. They got it. Next up, I think we all can agree that SteelSeries made big moves in 2022. Releasing the refreshed SteelSeries Apex Pro in the 60%, the full-size OmniPoint 2.0 switches, PBT keycaps. They did good things with the Apex Pro. They really did. And then the refresh of the Arctis line, the Arctis Nova here. I was worried, being a big SteelSeries headset fan. I was like, I know they're going to refresh them soon. How is it going to really turn out? And when they came out with these, it was, wow, I think they did a really good job. Now, talking about the Arctis Nova Pros here, I wasn't a mainer of these when they came out. I liked them, but I felt like the wired ones are better. I mean, they still do sound better. Same with the old line, you know what I mean? But the wireless one, I was kind of like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of features packed into that I probably wouldn't use. Number one being that stinking noise cancellation, that dang nub in there with them horrible ear cushions they put. Luckily, Wicked Cushions came through, and now we got these extra pads on them, and now I'm maining it. Because again, I don't feel that stinking nub in there. They're incredibly comfortable. I love the simplicity of it, having that controller right up there. And again, the headset is so incredibly comfortable and a real rounded out sound that I think a lot of us can truly get down with. And then you can dabble with it from there. But out of the gate, it is just such an impactful, great headset. For me, again, I had to get my Wicked Cushions on it to make it even passable to be able to use. But now I can't get them off my head. Okay, let's talk about this Apex Pro, okay? So we got the TKL over here, the wireless version. I don't know if it'll turn on if I'm not plugged into the dongle, so you can see, no, see, it's trying to sync up right there. But they did so many good things. I like the style. I do wish they made the frame go up over the key so we don't got the floating keycap design. But if you're in at an RGB, it's really going to flare out there for you. But anyways, it's wireless. You don't have that big chunky wire anymore. They got PBT keycaps finally. And then the OmniPoint 2.0 switches, which are a little bit faster. They just did a really good job refreshing this board. But the biggest thing I really got a high five SteelSeries for doing with the Apex Pro is not just so much the refresh the PBT keycaps, which is all great being wireless and all that, but they also released the Mini, which, no, I'm not a 60% user, but it's awesome. I've stated so many times, give the consumer the options they want. You got the TKL, you got the Mini. But even other than that, guys, hold on, give me a second. Give me a second here. SteelSeries, when they released the Apex 9, they released the Mini and then the TKL. Why is this a good option? Well, not everyone can spend $200 on the Apex Pro, that being the wired version. When you get into the wireless one, it's around $250. It's an expensive keyboard. So why this is great is if you want a pretty darn close experience to the Apex Pro, but don't want to spend as much, don't have as much, you still have a very close option over here that's just going to give you just as good of an experience. And that, I got a stinking high five SteelSeries over giving the consumer options as far as choices and then price points so everybody can join the game. So after looking at all that stuff, it's just like, wow. I mean, you can see this is just, again, a few of my nitpicked favorite items out of the bunch of everything that got released in 2022, and just seeing these awesome products is amazing. Obviously, SteelSeries made huge changes, you know, and SteelSeries is usually very slow on their releases. So again, are we going to see this again in 2023? I don't think so. I think we'll see a few iterations off of this, some other Novas and a few different releases from them off of the baseline, but I don't think we'll see anything this impactful this year. What I do think, actually what I know we're going to see, like I stated, big things coming from Pulsar, big things coming from Razer, and again, we got those bigger Lethal Gaming Gear pads, and Lethal's still working on their mouse, so we're pretty excited to check that out. So again, I think 2023 is going to be just as exciting. But please, let me know down in the comments. I'm really curious to hear what your favorite products, your peripherals, gaming peripherals from 2022 are.